Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, May 25th, 2012. It is the final trading day before the Memorial Day holiday in the United States. Let's take a look at the charts here. We'll start off with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. You'll see that futures are trading basically flat on the session, right around the 1322 and a quarter level. So decent little hold for the markets. They were up higher around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but you can see they have slipped. That usually tells you that the dollar got a little bit stronger. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index futures, the M contract on the dollar, and you'll see right here futures on the dollar have started to rise up. As the dollar goes up, the markets go down, and that's kind of just the way it is these days. So every trade is essentially a trade on the U.S. dollar index. Right now, the dollar is upticking a little bit off the lows. It is still down 17. Make that 13 cents on the session, but nonetheless has come up off the lows. Now, we'll see if the dollar fades after the opening bell rings at 9:30 in the morning. If that happens, then you're probably looking at a market that could catch a little bit more of a bid. It is a Friday. Everybody's wondering who wants to hold over the weekend, and that's going to be the million-dollar question. Does anybody want to hold stock over the weekend, especially with the Memorial Day holiday upon us? The markets in the United States will be closed on Monday. There's one trump card for the markets today that give them a slight upside bias, and it is that the bond market will close lower today. So the Treasury market will be closed, I believe, at 1:30. That gives the stock market a couple of hours there to rally. So if the markets are down, say into 1:30, 2 o'clock, watch for them to start to rebound a little bit after the bond market closes. Remember the old saying: when the mice are away, the cat will play. And when the cat is away, the mice will play. And that is what you got to watch for. But right now, markets could be vulnerable in the first half of the day. I would not rule that out. It will be a lighter volume session, barring any catastrophe coming out of Europe. A lot of traders are already gone for the weekend, and many people, especially in New York, Connecticut, they're going to be at the new beach home, and that's how it usually plays out each and every Memorial Day. So we'll see where it goes from here. But keep an eye on the U.S. dollar index. You can see the dollar catching a little bit more of a bid, and then the futures have come in a little bit. But the market is really tightly correlated to this dollar, so we'll see how it plays out from there. Couple of other things to go over this morning. First thing we want to look at is oil. This morning, if you look at crude is ticking up a little bit as the dollar was weaker. So spot crude, I believe light sweet crude trading up 26 cents to around $90.92 on light sweet crude. We'll see how that plays out. Let's take a look at the USO. USO is trading up around 34.35, so it's up a little bit, closed at 34.26. So reflective of that, but not that big a deal. Remember, if the dollar gets stronger, though, oil will find pressure, selling pressure, that is. So just remember that. Oil usually trades inverse to the dollar as well. Same thing goes for gold. This morning on spot gold, we have gold, I believe, trading higher by about $3. If you take a look at the GLD this morning, you'll see it's trading right around the 151.40 level. Closed basically yesterday at 151.41. So it's basically right where it closed. So you don't want to make too much out of that. As we speak, the dollar is catching a little bit more of a bid here. You can see the dollar spiking, and that's going to take the futures down. Watch how quickly the futures come down. There it goes, just like that. Futures are trading lower now. It's all about the dollar. The dollar goes up, the markets come down, and that's the bottom line. So let's see how this market plays out. We'll see if the dollar is just making a pre-market retrace here, and then once the opening bell rings, does it come down and inflate the markets? That's what we have to watch for. Again, it's a Friday. It's a wild card day. You never know how it's going to play out. All right, a couple of other things to look at in this market. Right now, we don't have many stocks that are really surging higher or breaking down. One stock I'm looking at is ticker symbol PAY. It's a Verifone. The stock this morning is getting hit a little bit. It's trading at 41.10. I did some calculations before here. Traders should watch really around the $40 level, maybe even $39.45 level. There will be a little bit of support there. That's a level where the market Verifone could catch a little bit of a bid. And then you're going to look all the way down to the $36.75 to $36.50 level. That's the next bounce area there for a small bounce. So traders should watch those two areas going forward. And if it really stock really sold off, I would probably look at 34.50. But either way, all of those levels I just talked about are going to be short-term bounces, intraday bounce levels for Verifone. There's not a lot of stocks out here that we could talk about. Another one I saw this morning that caught a little bit of a bid was Chesapeake Energy. This stock has been under severe pressure. I still do not like the daily chart, but it looks like BlackRock has been making a little bit of an investment in the company. It doesn't really matter much to me. The stock ultimately does not look that strong on the daily chart, but we'll see if it can gain some strength. Closed yesterday at 15.58. Today it's trading around 15.90, but starting to fade as the dollar gets stronger. I really didn't see all that much. Morgan Stanley's in the news as they're going to fix some trades for Facebook, but that's not doing a whole lot. It's a little bit on the weaker side, and really that was the extent of everything that I saw this morning. I really didn't see anything that looked all that substantial. I saw some Microsoft was going to sell something to sell their stake in CNBC or MSNBC, but I don't think it's really a mover right here. So again, there's not a lot really going on this morning on this Friday. But what you want to do is, as a trader, is just watch that U.S. dollar index. When the dollar surges, the markets will decline and deflate. That's the bottom line. And you can see the dollar is only down 3 pennies now, making a big move. And look at the futures down over 3 points. And when we started speaking today in this video, the futures were basically flat on the day, and now they're hitting this 200 moving average down over 3 points, 3.5 points as we speak. So again, dollar, keep that front and center. That will tell you everything you need to know. Hopefully keep you out of trouble with if there's any European news. This morning, all of the European markets are lower. That you want to take note of. They're not down a lot. They're down just very, very little. The DAX, which is probably the most important, is flat. But you do have Italy and Spain both lower. Spain is down, I believe, 1% at the moment. Last night in Asia, the Shanghai was down about 0.75%. Also, Australia was down about 0.6%. India was flat. And then you have the Hang Seng and the Nikkei both up about 0.2%. So really a mixed bag of tricks there, but the Shanghai is the most important. And that one was down about 0.75%. Not a big decline, but a fair decline, and you got to pay note to it. So we'll see how this market shakes out today. Again, still be cautious in this environment, but if the markets are down around 2 o'clock, start looking for maybe a little bit of a low for them to stabilize. You would want to see that. I think that is possible, but again, don't hang your hat on it. Just make sure you watch the U.S. dollar index, and that will probably tell you everything you need to know. With that said, everybody, I'm going to leave it here. Have a great holiday, great Memorial Day, and we will see you on the charts on Monday morning. Take care now.